Hi everyone, it's MaryAnn Camacho here with episode 13 covering chapter 10 from my new book, How Many Employees Does It Take to Change a Light Bulb? And today we're going to be talking about leading virtually. Yeah, in this case, trust is a virtue and communication is king. You know, allowing employees to work from home was really accelerated a couple of years ago. And now it seems that we're seeing a shift, or shall we say a massive pull in some cases to reverse it. Why is this? Well, there are several reasons for sure. But to start, I feel very fortunate that I had extensive experience early in my career leading remote teams. And one benefit of this virtual experience is it enhanced my ability to lead during a crisis. It was normal to have teleconferences at all hours of the day and night with my global partners. I worked on planes, on trains, in my kitchen, without ever really even giving it a second thought. If there was a job to be done, I was going to make it happen. And this is one of the benefits that leaders with experience in leading virtual teams have versus those that maybe didn't or do not. They're more comfortable on being focused what needs to be done versus where the work is being performed. And there are two other innate traits that I learned make or break the success of a team. And this is true no matter if they're in the office or working remotely. They are communication and trust. And they are even more critical when you're in a virtual setting. Let's start with communication. The act of writing down and communicating business goals, your outcomes, and desired expectations, it's imperative in any work environment. I learned a valuable lesson early in my career to not mistake people nodding in a meeting as agreement. I learned the hard way to publish notes in writing as clearly and as promptly as possible. This led to the creation of program trackers and metric dashboards. And most of you probably use these today, but do you know why and what they're for? They're to communicate and get everyone on the same page. I know this might sound obvious, but the reality is, especially in a virtual working team, communication is the key to success. And when in doubt, remember the 3 C's. Communicate, communicate, communicate. If you have a team with a significant portion of employees who work remotely, please ensure that your daily stand-ups, your performance metrics, and your project updates are available to everyone easily and digitally. Some of the basic Microsoft and Google tools will work just fine, although connectivity challenges, they can be hard to avoid. So take the time to provide some simple setup instructions for your employees to get online and for them to stay connected. You may find that one of your biggest challenges is team members just not being well versed in these tools. Maybe some of them are fine reading them digitally, but not writing. For example, working in a spreadsheet may not be commonplace or common knowledge for them. You can encounter employees also being resistant to using their video camera while on a meeting. Don't let it be optional. Working remotely requires people to be present and presentable. You can and should specify for employees what being presentable means. Recognize the skills of your team and shore up any gaps that you find, and certainly any behaviors to make communicating in the virtual world that much easier. Now, let's talk about the big T, trust. Nothing is more important for teamwork. It is the #1 dysfunction of a team, followed by the fear of conflict, a lack of commitment, avoidance of accountability, and inattention to results. I love the 5 Dysfunctions of a Team book, and you can refer to it for a stepwise guide to this point. Remote work has further tested a team's ability to trust one another. Just think about the aspect of someone's physical presence versus what they are delivering. When you see somebody walking down the aisle in the plant or your office, you might easily form an impression that they're present and therefore they must be working on something important. After all, they did come to work. But unfortunately, that's not always the case. I've seen plenty of folks messing around at work, and this behavior, it can be contagious. So the point I want to make about forcing people to come to the office is akin to the five frogs riddle, where we learn that deciding and doing are not the same thing. Just because your employees decide to show up, it doesn't mean they're doing the work. And in fact, isn't remote work still just work? What we need to do is to engage our employees and in this false belief that if they come to the office, they are more productive. This is just leader paranoia, as the Work Trend Index published by Microsoft's Work Lab noted. In model team methodology, it's a fantastic method to engage your team and to deliver awesome productivity, whether you are on site or virtual. One thing we can do as a leader to improve trust is to give it. Yeah, we can only verify that work is really being done with someone that we trust if we're clear about what it is that we want. And so this means articulating goals and utilizing key performance metrics to track our joint progress. And that's why I discuss communication before trust. Because if we're not good communicators, our team is going to get mixed messages, and their ability to trust us is going to waver. In turn, if we don't listen to them and engage them in innovation and the overall running of the business, we're not trusting them to bring their intellect to work and really to achieve the goals. There's another great book I will recommend you read, and it's called The Year Without Pants. Catchy title. I love it. The author describes their experiences working completely virtually at the company WordPress. And one of my favorite lines from this book is, "No method can magically make employees trust each other or their boss if they have good reason not to." How you create, you build, and you sustain trust requires an exercise in you evaluating your company's culture and committing to any team who demonstrates that they want to make things better for customers and employees. It's an act of trust. So create this and you're going to have more fun and get more done at work. Which mode is better, you might ask? Well, I have to say it does depend on the company and their culture. There are some businesses who maybe can't offer any remote work, where physically moving packages, moving dinners to tables, or treating patients in the surgery room just has to be that way. But in all others, let the actual work and the outcomes determine the mode of work. The employee's skill set, their tenure, and their ability to be self-directed are also key determinants of success in a remote environment. And then so are the leader's ability to communicate and to trust in their team. For certain, the physical human connection provides a unique advantage to developing relationships and collaboration. It is simply subpar when you're working remotely. There's no Zoom meeting feature yet that can replicate the depth of human empathy imparted by speaking to someone in person. And yes, it can be harder to run Kaizen events and truly engage your team in continuous improvement projects. And this is why I recommend, no matter the environment, that you host in-person sessions for teams to work together on larger projects for several days. When they see that you care to invest in them and collaborate and make work and products and services better, they're going to be more engaged. And then you've got a lasting effect to these sessions. Personally, I like a hybrid approach with a portion of folks working from home or a few days in the office. Hybrid work offers us the flexibility to adjust to ever-changing labor and business conditions. And in my experience, Teamwork and camaraderie, they're just not as strong when everyone is always remotely working. It can be harder to run effective meetings. It's definitely harder to train, especially for new employees joining the organization. But given all of this, I would still offer a majority of the team virtual work, as it respects their choice and ability to be effective no matter where they're located. And frankly, if we don't trust our employees to do the work we hired them for, why are they still working for us?